Hey, Matthew here, psychologist in Ottawa. So, when it comes to therapy, oftentimes people who haven't been before or who haven't been often can be worried about what to expect at the outset of therapy. And one of the things I often try to focus people on is that your therapist will guide the process, but it's up to you to generate the content, which really means, since you're coming in and we don't really know you at all, you have to tell us some things about yourself. We'll help guide, what kind of information we might want, and we'll help guide treatment. But as your therapist, we're not going to choose the topics for you to explore. Now, if what you're really wanting is for someone else to choose the content, maybe what you need is a psychoeducational group or some kind of like formal structured group therapy that's around skill building or skill development, or maybe you want to get a self-help book because you can then pick kind of from what kind of content you want someone else to generate for you. Or, of course, lots of people watch all kinds of videos on the YouTubes or on the internet. And that would be a way for you to get some kind of support or do some kind of learning where you don't have to generate your own content. I think some of the ways through which people get nervous about generating their own content is they're worried about doing therapy wrong. And let me help you out here. The only person in the room that can do therapy wrong is the therapist. You're not expected to know the process. You didn't go to fancy schools to find out about how to guide the process. So why would you know how to guide therapy? You just have to show up and, bring your content. Another reason why people get worried about what content they're generating is that they want to be, the most efficient or the most effective, or they want to make sure they're talking about the right things. And if you're spending a lot of time thinking about what the right things are, you're probably not really present to what you're actually living. And that's probably going to be one of the first goals of therapy, is helping kind of bring you back to let's stay in your own experience and let's help you figure out what it is that's going on for you. I know sometimes in therapy, people will talk about things and they'll be like, I don't know why I'm going over this over and over. And sometimes I'll help them by redirecting them to think about, well, if you weren't thinking about this thing that you've already kind of sorted out, or if you weren't thinking about this thing that doesn't really seem to be a huge problem, what else do you think you'd be thinking about? It's often a good question to ask ourselves when we find ourselves turning the same thoughts over and over and over. It's a way to try to get out of the loop. So, some things to think about, but in summary, really, you can't do therapy wrong. All you've got to do is come and bring yourself, your experiences, what's going on for you, and your therapist will help guide things so that you get as much out of it as you can. I'm going to go be with some hearts that beat. Look after yourselves and each other today. Ciao.